that just happened with chips in hardware. There's another thing about Bloomberg report. Did you see that?
Yes.
Of the chips that came from all this server company, or this company that makes the chips that sells to all these big companies like Apple and major companies, and now everyone's compromised. And Apple's like, nope, not true. Definitely not true. Don't say that.
Of course, not us.
Yeah, no, 100% not us. But like, yeah, that's a really weird story.
Look at this MateBook. Like the bezels. They're almost non-existent.
So your
is
challenge,
a gorgeous website.
If you're
gorgeous laptop, rather.
If you're Huawei and you make that, now you have to convince people to switch from the MacBooks that they love to that.
Yes.
Just on looks alone, they could probably do it. Mm-hmm. But then there's all the other features like, well, it doesn't run Mac OS X. Do I have iMessage?
Right.
Do I have
No.
all these other things that I like about my Mac? This huge touchpad.
Right. Well, it does have a huge touchpad.
Yes, but I'd say to this day, still, Apple has the best laptop touchpads, the multi-touch stuff.
But the battery life is supposed to be excellent as well, right?
Yeah.
How
Look
good,
at that chart. That chart was perfect because that's like all these X's for that. Yes, we have great design. We have better ports. You only have USB-C on that little MacBook Pro. We have full-size USB. We have all this stuff. We'll give audio to the MacBook Pro. It's got bigger speakers, whatever. But we have a better battery life. We have all this better, lower price, all this stuff. And you still have to reconcile with what people love about their MacBook Pros, which is Mac OS X.
Well, there's that, but there's also people love having an Apple product.
That too.
They do love that.
Yeah.
They like if someone
If you could put an Apple logo on a Huawei, I wonder how many they could sell. It'd probably be a little better.
Sell the shit out of them.
Yeah.
Well, you know, some comic has a joke about texting a girl, and the text message comes back in green. You go, "Damn, she's poor."
It's a true thought people have.
Yes, people want iMessage. Like if you're messaging someone and you find out it won't send an iMessage, it'll only send a text message. You're like, oh, this weirdo. Either they have a flip phone, like some cave person.
I've been on the other side of that. Like I carry an iPhone, but I text people on my Android phone. So I've never been on the judging side. But I wonder about that every day. Like, really, what does it matter? Like, I text you with a green bubble, which Apple decided, first of all, to differentiate iMessage versus text message, which is hilarious. Who cares? Like, what does it matter?
Well, the blue does look better.
I'm sure they decided to. I'm sure in a software update they tweaked that green to make it look extra harsh.
Well,
like
you know what it is they figured out with pool tables a long time ago. Like pool tables, the cloth generally is green, right? Mm-hmm. But when they started playing in professional tournaments, they realized that blue cloth is actually easier on the eyes, and you can differentiate the edges better. So a lot of like really high-end professional matches are played on blue cloth now. It's sense. Like a light blue, sky blue cloth.
Yeah, I've seen, and that's, I guess, because of the way your eyes work.
Yeah.
Like something about primary colors and the cones, and you're more contrast sensitive to blue, something like that. I don't know.
Well, it's something about the way white contrasts with green is not quite as pleasing as white contrasting with blue.
Word.
But it could be that Apple's fucking with you with the green. They're giving you some vomit green.
Make it some brown color next year. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
The color of the app is green.
Well,
Why wouldn't they make it blue? iMessage, the app, that button you press to open it is green.
It's a green logo.
Why not make it blue?
That's really true. Yeah, what the fuck? That's a very good point, Jamie. Yeah, why did they do that? It's still, why would it be green when you're sending blue messages? Apple.
It's weird.
You dorks. Steve Jobs is dead. You guys are fucked. You don't know what you're doing.
Design.
But the MateBook, other than that, it's supposed to have a better keyboard. It's supposed to have a keyboard that's probably similar to that Surface Book. Mm-hmm. And it's supposed to have better battery life.
Bezel-less.
Right? Yeah, bezel-less.
Touchscreen. Higher resolution.
But you got to deal with Windows 10, which is a little bit of a pain in the ass, I got to admit. It's like the updates are almost daily. There's something going on with firmware or something going on with this or that. Or
I've gotten used to it, mostly, though, because most of what I do on my laptop is pretty web-based. So I'm just living in Chrome or Safari or whatever, right. So it's not a big deal. But then, yeah, once I have to go out and I'm going to go in Lightroom and do some photo work, and then like suddenly I'm digging through files and I'm in Windows, and it's then you start to feel like you're different.
Yeah, when first time you have to update a driver, you're like, what is it, 1996? What the fuck is going on here? I'm updating drivers?
I try to avoid that.
Ew. It's just, They're close though. Like it's way better than it was 5 years ago.
Yeah.
You know, 5 years ago you would look at Windows, you'd be like, this is like some archaic, pixelated.
Came from Vista to Windows 7 to Windows 10. Vista was kind of that nightmare, and then they kind of have worked upwards since.
I started with Windows 95. I used to make my own computers back in my hardcore video gaming days.
Nice.
I used to go to Fry's Electronics and get motherboards and the box and fans. And
I started that online. So I never went to a physical computer store to buy parts, but I would have to do the whole like cross-referencing what's compatible with what online, and then put together a whole list and then just buy it. And then 9 boxes show up, and like hopefully they all work.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was the same experience.
Yeah, and SLI video cards and connecting them with that cable and all that.
You ever mess up
jazz.
and break one?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fucked
Makes
up.
you, but fixing it makes you feel like you did something.
Well, there's something going on when you're like the jumpers for the motherboard and you're moving stuff around, and it was cool.
Yeah.
And then once you actually got online with a computer you made yourself, you're like, this is something about this. And I remember when you used to be able to do that with Apple. You used to be able to buy clones.
Yeah. I mean, way back in the day, still in high school, I had a Dell XPS like 730, I think it was called, this huge desktop where, again, you could like take the CPU cooler out, put a new one in. It was modular fully. And then Apple also made this huge desktop, this Power Mac, or I don't know what it was called at the time, but it was, again, massive. You could take the graphics card out, put a new one in. You could take the RAM out, take the CPU out, but it was like this weird system where like they were on like decks, and you had to like take this big metal slot out and then do the CPU there and then put it back in.
Yeah.
It was really satisfying to like change the hardware and like, yeah, I did that. And then you boot it up and it's like, that's exactly right. Now it's got 8 gigs of RAM.
Yeah, there's some, especially, I don't know, I think it's a man thing too. Men like changing carburetors.
The mechanical feel.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably a lot to do with it too.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. That thing.
Yeah, I remember
think
that
even
sucker.
one generation after that, because it had like basically like elevator levels to it, like the top level and then the bottom level, and then the hard drives and the power supply and the top, like all that stuff. And you can mess with that.
If you go over someone's house and they have that now, you're like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
But that's the thing about like, that was the most accessible modular desktop Apple ever made. And now they're making this promise again, like, all right, we listened. We know that little trash can Mac Pro was not good thermally or design-wise for anyone. So we're going to make a modular professional desktop Mac Pro again. That's what they said. And it's going to be next year sometime. And I keep picturing that. I picture them going back to the roots of like a real bona fide desktop. Because right now, the most powerful iMac or Mac you can get is the iMac Pro. And you can't even update the RAM in the iMac Pro.
Really?
You can't update anything about iMac Pro.
Really?
Yeah, what you buy is what you get. If you buy a $7,000 iMac Pro, you will have that spec forever. Apple doesn't want you opening anything in that thing. So when they say, we're going to make a modular, updatable, real, well-designed Apple desktop, I'm like, I really hope they're doing that, like exactly, because I love that.
Do they have regular towers anymore? Or no? Everything's an iMac?
They